And welcome back to Deathbattle Predictions. Let's say who would win. Deathbattle Predictions. I just watched, well, not just. I watched it during my lunch break. It's now almost 4 o'clock in the evening. But yeah, watched Magneto versus Tetsuo. All I can say is, my score's starting to improve a little bit. I'm not 50-50, 3-3. All right, we're good. We're doing good. Well, 3-6, but still. 3-6. All right, we're going good here. Okay, what's the next one? The fight was okay. There's some highlights, but it's not an amazing fight. They did the best I think they could. Actually, no, they didn't even bring up some of Magneto's like even cooler feats. But no, I'm like, okay, what's the next one? Let's get this on. And I'm watching the previews, and the previews are only ever like 10 seconds. But I'm watching, I'm like, wait, clay pots? What are we doing here? And then I finally realize, wait, is this Hercules? It is Hercules versus Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. And as far as I can tell, they aren't doing like a Marvel, because Sun Wukong, like the Monkey King, and Hercules obviously exist as characters in multiple other fictions. There's a Marvel, there's a DC, there's a Disney anime version of Hercules. He got his own freaking TV show. Sun Wukong has not gotten as much airplay, although there's plenty of Chinese movies, Chinese or Japanese movies involving him. But Forbidden Kingdom had Sun Wukong in there. Hell, he makes an appearance in Jackie Chan Adventures. I love that show. Jackie Chan Adventures. So maybe not as quite as prevalent in like our pulp culture, but still a lot of people, if you tell them, have you ever heard of the Monkey King? A lot of people at least say they've heard of him. Everyone's heard of Hercules. But that's the thing. They didn't like advertise a specific version of the characters. They just advertised them as, the mythological figures. It seems like Deathbattle is going very, is not afraid to like be going into some interesting mythologies now, like in our real world history. Are they ever going to do like Jesus versus Muhammad or something like that? I highly doubt it, because now you're getting like offense. This is myth and folklore versus actual religion. I think that's the difference you're going to see. You're never going to see religious figures unless I'm sure there are people in theory that worship these guys, but you know what I mean. But the question still remains: who do I think is going to win this? I saw some YouTubers, commentators on other videos going saying, "Oh God, I don't think any YouTuber has the balls to give their prediction on like folklore and mythology." Hold my whiskey. I don't drink beer, so hold my whiskey. So look, Hercules. In myth, Hercules is obviously the son of Zeus. He is the Hassan. He's half mortal. And, Hera hated his guts. So she sent 2 snakes to kill him his crib. However, he possessed all the strength he would have had as a god, and then some. It was actually what he most likely is. I thought he's a demigod, but he's not a god. At least as far as I can remember, he never gained godhood, or if he did, I can't remember exactly. Either way, he kills the snakes in their cribs. In his crib. Obviously, he goes through life, doing what he does. Then his family is killed, and there's this. Was it the 12 labors? What is? I can't remember. I'm blanking on how many labors it actually was. Hercules. Labors of Hercules. Hold on. Labors of Hercules. Oh, perfect. It's 12. Yeah, there were 12 labors. Slay them in the Nemenian lion. Slay the Lernean Hydra, capture the Golden Hind, clean the stables of King August, defeat the Greek. I'll try that my best here. Stemphalian birds, capture the Cranian bull, bring back the mares of Dromedes, obtain the belt of Hippolytus, I believe. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. So yeah, Hera's vengeance. Yeah, the 12 layers. Slay the Nemenian lion, which the skin could not be broken. So he used his brute strength to choke the lion to death, and bring the skin. And then he wore it later on, which they're probably going to bring up. He wears that as armor, like the skin couldn't be broken. He slayed the Lernean Hydra. Basically, what he did with that, if I remember correctly, he realized that he could kill it by not fully cutting off a head. By not cutting off the head would not grow back, and he could actually kill it that way. Capture the Golden Hind. And by the way, this might be a longer prediction because I got to go into actual mythology here. And I love mythology. I really do. I'm actually a huge mythology and folklore buff, but stuff like this, I don't know immediately off the top of my head. Captured a golden hind. In Greece, was the town of Cyrenere, where a hind lived. The deer had golden horns and bronze hooves and was sacred to Artemis, the goddess of hunting and animals. Therefore, Hercules could not kill it. Instead, Hercules hunted the deer every day for a year, and an opportunity to shoot the deer presented itself, and Hercules took it. On his way home, Hercules encountered Artemis and Apollo and had to explain his reasoning for apprehending the deer. Hercules told him of his servitude to Eurystheus, or either whatever. Artemis and Apollo agreed to let Hercules take the hind under the condition that Hercules bring the hind back unharmed. Capturing of the Erymathian boar. The person ordered Hercules to bring back the wild boar from the mountains of this place. Hercules visited his friend and centaur Pholos. The two ate and drank wine, which attracted other centaurs to the cave. Hercules killed the centaurs with arrows, which would unfortunately be the downfall of Pholos. Pholos picked up an arrow and questioned how it was so lethal when he inadvertently dropped his poison arrow on his foot and killed himself. Hercules discovered Pholos, buried him, and began hunting the boar. Hercules was able to drive the fearful boar into the snow, where he captured the boar in a net and brought it to this person. Cleaned the stables of King Augeas. This was basically, he has over 1,000 cattle. Really, it was more just it was just cleaning, really. Defeat the birds. A huge flock of birds was gathered in town, so he ordered Hercules to drive the birds away. Birds are fierce man-eaters, so Hercules had to determine how to safely remove the birds from the town. Athena visited Hercules and gave him a noise-making clapper to help him scare the birds. As the birds flew, Hercules shot them with his bow and arrow, while the remainder flew away from town. Capture the Cretan bull. There you go. The bull was destroying the city and scaring the residents. Hercules was able to wrestle the bull to the ground and take it back. Bring back the mares of Dromedes. King Dromedes of Thrace trained his mares in the village to eat human flesh. Hercules brought help with him to seize the mares. A company of Hercules, Abderus, was killed by one of the mares. Hercules buried Abderus and established the city of Aberda. In his honor, Hercules would kill Dromedes, feed the horses to calm them, and bring the horses back. Obtain the belt of Hippolyta. Hippolyta. There we go, Hippolyta. I got one right, I think. Queen Hippolyta was the leader of a tribe of women in a leather belt that was given to her by Ares, a god of war, and she was the best warrior among all the Amazons. When Hercules arrived to the land, Hippolyta came to Hercules and asked him why he was there. He told her that he wanted the belt. She agreed to let him take the belt, but not before Hera, disguised as Amazon warrior, told the tribe that Hercules was there to take Hippolyta. The tribe came back apprehensive and dressed in armor to confront him. Hercules saw their armor and weapons and assumed Hippolyta had set the tribe to kill him, so he killed Hippolyta and returned her belt. Well, that sucked for Hippolyta. Obtained the cattle of Geron. And finally, capturing Cerberus. Like, the dude captured Cerberus. Let's be very clear. So he went through and he's held up the sky, the sky of Mount Olympus and all that. He actually held up basically a universe, is what he did, because separate dimension. He is the god. He is basically, if he is the god, he's the god of strength, is what he is in Greek mythology. He is well beyond any mortal man. But he's not actually a god. He's a demigod. He doesn't age the same way, all that. So, Sun Wukong, in the West is called the Monkey King, or simply Monkey, is the main character of the Chinese novel Journey to the West. He is predominantly a cultural folklore figure across Asia. His life begins as a rock on the mountain of Hogoi, with the winds shape him into a monkey. Because supernaturally animated, he soon becomes leader of a tribe of monkeys who take up safe residence in the cave of Water Curtain. Wukong reigns happily over the monkeys for many years, till he finally begins to realize his own mortality. Seeking a way to become immortal, Wukong first trains under a Buddhist patriarch and masters many magical spells. When the 10 judges of the dead come to collect him, he fights back, manages to erase his name and all the monkeys' names from the Book of Life and Death. Kings of heaven report him to the Jade Emperor for his wrongdoings. At the Immortals' residence, Mount Pengala, the god names, Wukong is appointed keeper of the heavenly horses to keep him out of trouble. Where he finds out that what a low rank he really is, he rebels, appointing himself great sage equal of heaven. After a long fight, the gods are forced to recognize the title, and Wukong is appointed guardian of Ziwang Mu's heavenly peach garden, where he learns that Baijian, have excluded him from the immortal banquet. He rebels again, stealing Ziwang Mu's peaches of immortality. Lao Tzu's pills of longevity, and the Jade Emperor's royal wine, devouring them all. He then returns to the cave of Water Curtain, where the army of heavens attack. He defeats the entire army, as well as Erlang Shen, heaven's greatest general. Buddha finally traps Wukong in a mountain under a seal with the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, where he remains until Goyen makes him, with these names, Zonzang's disciple. He accompanies Zonzang on the journey to retrieve sutras from India, like Conversation, all that. Alternately protecting his companions and causing mischief, Wukong ultimately achieves enlightenment and becomes a Buddha, finally getting his long-desired immortality. Ugh, God. That's just, there's a lot more, but that's the basis one. So Sun Wukong is actually an extremely capable warrior. As we saw, he defeats an entire army on his own. And he's actually in possession of many, not just many abilities, but many possessions, like relics, weapons, treasures. I'm not even going to bother with some of these names, jeez. But the Phoenix Feathercap, one of the treasures of the Dragon Kings, gives this to him to get rid of him when he acquires requires the Rui Jin Goban. Is that even here? Okay, that's his golden rod. Okay, that's his main actual weapon. But he also has golden chainmail, one of the treasures of the Dragon Kings, given to him. The magical headband, not so much a possession as a trap. Goyen gives this to the headband to keep him under control. A special chant causes the headband to tighten and inflict terrible pain. I doubt we're going to be dealing with that in the fight. Cloud stepping boots, made of lotus fire. These are one of the treasures. Basically, it sounds like it allows him to actually step on clouds, is what it does. Unfortunately, there's no actual description of what a lot of these do. However, then there is the Rui Jin Guban, magic golden clasp rod, or ideal golden bound cudgel. His primary weapon, originally an iron rod used to measure the depths of the sea. The Rui Jin Guban was given to him by, it's a staff that weighs 13,000 jin, or 13,500 jin, or 8.1 tons. Dealing with Hercules, though, that's not going to... In fact, Hercules will be able to lift that, no problem. But Wukong can lift it easily and change it to any size. He usually shrinks it to the size of a sewing needle and puts it behind his ears when not in use. Then you actually factor in his abilities. He allows himself to... one of his... Fly. Got it. Ooh, nice. Oh, no, actually, it was a mosquito. Got it. That's why I could get it. He can shapeshift into almost any form. However, he's never able to transform his tail. He can also transform each of his 84,000 hairs on his body into another form, animate or inanimate, and often bites his hairs into pieces to create even more copies. He can also... We see this actually in the movie The Forbidden Kingdom, where he actually makes copies of himself. He made a copy of himself. In theory, he could go bald and just make an army of him to go after Hercules. Fire avoidance charm allows him to survive fire. Probably won't factor here much. Water avoidance charm allows him to survive deep underwater. However, he's unable to fight while using this ability. Well, so if he gets thrown into the water, well, he could survive. But if Hercules follows him, he's actually not able to fight. Body freeze spell allows him to immobilize enemies. So that's something, basically paralyzing him. Fiery golden gaze, allowing him to identify evil no matter what form it takes. However, it also causes smoke to sting. It also causes smoke to sting his eyes. You mean it wouldn't otherwise? Wukong acquires this ability after Lao Tzu traps Wukong in the cauldron for 49 days, then we distill him for punishment. Or distill him as punishment. Yeah, I don't see that playing a factor in the fight at all. Lock breaking spell allows him to point a finger or a staff at open any lock. Again, nothing that's really going to do anything. Cloud trapeze allows him to cover 54 kilometers or 33.5 miles in a single leap, which that's impressive. I don't know if Hercules could probably maybe do something similar. I just don't know if he can do that in a jump. Protective circle allows him to erect an impassable barrier by drawing a circle on the ground with his staff. Specifically, and then there is body outside of body, specifically refers to his ability to transform his hairs into fighting clones of himself. He has a summoning, allows him to summon local deities. That could actually be very important. And wind, allowing to summon strong gusts of wind. Now, this is probably not everything he is capable of. This is everything I am finding at this moment. Hercules, by the way, also, as far as I know, he did carry weapons like clubs, cudgels, that kind of stuff. So that is very likely to come into play as a weapon as well. You see it in this right here. But did I mention that this? I'll say it at the end. Thumbnails made by G-Ozilla. So from DeviantArt. So my take on this is this. Hercules, and I will do one last thing to check here about if Hercules actually has any special abilities beyond just his sheer strength. Because I want to say he does. I can't be like 100% certain, but I want to say he does. Hercules, powers and abilities. Let's be real quick. I'm already past the 15-minute mark. This is a long prediction video. Let's see. Powers and abilities. Here we go. Powers. Okay. Hercules powers. Let's see here. Hercules possesses the typical powers of Olympian god, including superhuman strength, durability, speed, reflexes, stamina, and endurance. So really two things. One, intelligence. Hercules clearly is actually very clever, at least depicted in the myths, because he has to figure out ways to actually figure out these problems with a clever solution. Being able to trick Atlas, when he says, "Okay, I'll hold up the sky for you. Let me just get a good bearing. Hold it for a second. I'll get a good bearing." Later, doing that, that's clever. Give him credit. But intelligence-wise, let's be honest, I think the Monkey King is still the more clever and deceitful. But this is, from everything I can tell right now, it's going to come down to a battle of pure, unadulterated power and strength, plus, durability thanks to his, the hide of the lion and stuff like that, versus someone who's still also very physically powerful, but more ingenuity, trained as a martial arts too. Hercules is a fighter, but I'd argue Monkey King might have better martial arts experience, actual hand-to-hand style. Whoopsie. So brute strength and some clever aspects, and maybe slightly better armor, versus probably better hand-to-hand combat capabilities. Someone who actually became immortal, so he is actually immortal. Whereas Hercules technically is only a demigod; he's technically not immortal. And a couple techniques that could actually give Hercules trouble, causing your opponent to freeze. Causing them to a barrier that they can't pass. And strong gust of winds. But the problem, I want to root for Sun Wukong a little bit more. But the problem I'm seeing here isn't abilities versus lack of abilities. It is, it's actually, do they have something to kill the other? Hercules definitely has the strength to kill Sun Wukong. There's no doubt about that. I guess in theory, because he can make that staff however big he wants, he can make it literally the size of the planet Earth or whatever. In theory. But the question is, beyond that, does he actually have it? And again, that's all the spells I know of the Monkey King that I just read. He may have more. Because he did study magic and all that. My gut wants to say Hercules. But you know what? I'm 50-50 right now. I'm going to go with the one I want to root for a bit more, who I think is a little bit cooler, especially when you look at these two artworks. I'm going to go with the Monkey King. I'm going to go Sun Wukong. I'm probably going to regret that. I'm probably going to end up being 3 for 7. But you know what? I'm willing to go. I'm 50-50 right now. I'm willing to just roll that dice. So, because this is one of those fights that I don't think anyone can really properly judge. I've gone nearly 20 minutes and I still am on the fence about it. Because you got to go into mythology and lore, not by character or what they've done in a comic or something. So yeah. Anyway, though, that's my thoughts. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'm going to see you folks for the next one. I got still pre-record my Atlantic for tomorrow. Have a good one.